Good evening. I'd like to call the October 2nd Planning Commission meeting to order and ask you to rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Much. I'd ask Secretary Erickson to take a roll, please.
Traffus?
Here.
Kaluza?
Here.
Zimmer?
Here.
Ike?
Here.
Swaney?
Here.
Swenson?
Here.
Thank you very much. The next item on the agenda is approval of the minutes. We have two documents, the September 18th Draft Planning Commission meeting minutes. Do we have any changes to the minutes? We'll let those stand.
The planning meeting first.
Yep. And then item B is the Draft Planning Commission work session minutes. And it sounds like we might have a change.
I do. On the work session minutes, the only thing I would add is that it states that Commissioner Swaney, you got to put me as absent. So I would amend those minutes to say members absent and add John Swaney.
Staff's taking notes on that. Thank you very much. That change and bring those forward again. We are on item number 4, announcements from Planning Manager Johnson, if we have any.
Thank you, Chair Zimmer. No, I do not have any announcements for this evening.
No announcements at this time. Next on the agenda is a public hearing for consideration of Marvin Development for a conditional use permit for a convenience restaurant with drive-through service window in the M2 mixed-use Cedar Corridor District. We will have Mr. Dawling, if he's around. Please come forward, and then we'll have you present. And then after that, we'll open up the public hearing after staff.
Thank you, Chair Zimmer, and the entire plan for assisting us with our process and submittal to the project. I don't know if there'll be drawings put up in front or not, but essentially the proposed new Taco Bell is part of the marketplace at Cedar development. It's been in the works for a while. Marvin Development has been working with Abaddon, the overall development manager, locations on the property and orientation of the project, and then moving on to working with city staff for the requirements to meet the zoning ordinance, and we believe we've got a good fit for the property and for the neighborhood. So any questions you have for me, I'm open.
Thank you so much. We'll have our planning manager, Chris Jensen, do a little presentation, and then we'll take any public comments, and then we bring you back up for questions.
Sounds great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Chair. I should have noted back to the approval of the minutes, even with with Commissioner Swaney's amendment, you should still vote on the minutes as amended.
Oh, okay.
So, but we can go back and do that after the two public hearings. So
Excellent. I was wondering because, we have never had minutes from our
yes,
secretary.
it's a minor change. We will just take care of it that way.
Thank you.
This is a public hearing for a Taco Bell conditional use permit. Their location, this is approximate. The marketplace at Cedar Plat will actually be on the City Council agenda for Monday evening for final plat approval. They expect to close with the property owner sometime in December, which is when the plat would be recorded. So this CUP will be subject to the recording of this plat. Obviously, there's no lot there until that plat happens. So, but this site is south of 179th Street and east of Cedar Avenue, just south of the Crossroads development. The M2 zoning there, which is the mixed-use corridor, which allows the commercial and higher density residential uses. So this is consistent with that district. This is the site plan for the Taco Bell. I'm just going to back up a second here. Probably should have put the overall plat in. There will be an access point. It's probably easier off of this one. A right-in only off of 179th, coming in across from the access point to Crossroads development here. It will be restricted such that vehicles won't be able to cross 179th, but there is a right-in for the marketplace development, and that is this access up here, just off screen. So that's where that is coming in, right in this, right here is the access. So this will be the primary access point, likely at the front of the building. The building's about 2,800 square feet. It is required to have 32 parking spaces, which is what they are providing. The drive-through does meet the 180 feet of stacking space as required. There is a second lane right here. So the drive-through lane is here. There's the second lane here, which would allow for, vehicles that are here to either wrap around to exit, or if someone gets in the drive-through lane and for whatever reason changes their mind, they can pop out and bypass the rest of the vehicles in that lane. There is the trash enclosure, I wanted to note, is within the building. That is why you don't see one on the site plan. We're starting to see that more and more for these smaller business uses. Here's the landscape plan. We do have the plantings on the three sides, other than where it will be up against the next commercial parcel. There were a couple comments by the city forester, relatively minor, but just to add some additional evergreen plantings in this area to help with headlights not shining onto 179th, and then to add an additional overstory tree in here so they meet the 40-foot spacing, and we'll just require that those that the plan be updated prior to going to city council for approval. And I also want to note that the menu board here and the transformer do have, they are screened, and at least on the backside, with ground level plantings there. They did include truck turning movements shown for the site. And as was noted in the report, should this parcel develop at a later time and this access not be available, the trucks are able to back up this way and then make this curve to come back out. Obviously, they wouldn't go this way. They'll have to go south here to leave. But they would be able to make that movement on the site. The elevations here, it is primarily, it's two colors of brick, the black or very dark gray and then kind of a medium gray, and then the windows. That's about 71% of the building, and then there is some ornamental metal on the back area here, which is grade C material. So this building does meet our ordinance requirements for commercial buildings. There is signage shown, but they will obviously be required to have sign permits issued prior to the installation of those. Staff does recommend approval of the Taco Bell CUP subject to the 4 stipulations included in the planning report and adoption of the findings of fact dated October 2nd, 2025, and I will stand for any questions you may have.
Much. This is a public hearing. If there's anyone that wishes to speak, anyone's on the phone, and look for a motion to close the public hearing since we don't have any comments.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor of closing the public meeting say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The public hearing is now closed. Now we'll throw it open for questions, and so we might ask Mr. Dowling to come up. Commissioner Kluza.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So I just had a question about stacking and how you handle cars when it gets really busy. I know that some of the other Taco Bell locations in the city have customers pull around to the front and wait for their order. I just was wanted to see if that was something that was planned at this location, because kind of my concern is when you look at the plan, if you're exiting that drive-through lane, it kind of naturally filters you out into the other commercial parcel. It's kind of angled as such that it might be kind of hard for a car, if they were to go around, you don't want them to have to go all the way back out to 179th Street to get back to the front. So just wanted to see if that was something you had planned for this location, or?
We don't have any parking waiting for your order spaces. It is a Taco Bell operational standard to get your food at the window. It should not happen frequently at these other locations if it is. That differs from McDonald's comes to mind right away, where they commonly ask you to pull forward to one of their waiting parking spaces. That's why they have 3 to 5 of those on the site. But for Taco Bell, they have the fastest food delivery time. You can Google it. I did to this afternoon. But they have the fastest food delivery time from order to pick up at the window. And they do not want to have to tell people to pull around the building. That said, there are occasions when somebody comes through with a huge order, and they will tell them to pull around by the main entrance, and one of the staff people will bring their food out to them.
Okay, so it's not something that you guys would plan as a normal part of business?
Not planned for, no.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Other questions? Commissioner Swanson?
Commissioner Kaluza kind of picked related to that, just as kind of affiliated with the timing of the parcel to the west and when that's going to develop into something. I understand with the backing of the trucks for delivery that there's an opportunity for that, but I'm just kind of curious if that business to the west hasn't come in yet, how that traffic movement is going to work just for regular cars, et cetera. I drive a vehicle that has a not great turning radius, as an example. Just if there's any consideration of how that might work in the interim.
It has been discussed early on between Marvin and Apadan about that very item with the adjacent site and the timing of that. Marvin Development is very interested in that, and if it looks like that western site won't be developed, my guess is they'll be working at getting that site entry point developed for that very reason, to keep their circulation.
I'll state I appreciate the idea with kind of kicking traffic to the right and keeping circulation on the site the way it is. So I'm definitely not discouraging doing it this way with the way the plan is shown. It was just a curiosity with some of the temporary timing, how this might play out in the long term. So one other question, if I may. There's also a mention with the delivery trucks, and if this access isn't here, that they might be able to back out. Can you speak to kind of timing when deliveries happen for Taco Bell?
Their deliveries are typically very early in the morning, before they're even open for business. So there wouldn't be cars in the parking lot to make their life more difficult. They pretty much have free reign of the parking lot for deliveries.
Perfect. Thanks for clarifying that. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Commissioner Traffus?
Question about Marketplace at Cedar. In general, this is the first use of the larger parcel. I'm just wondering if we're foreclosing any options by placing the Taco Bell in this particular spot, or is there a larger plan for Marketplace at Cedar?
And Chris might be able to speak to this better than I can at this point.
Johnson?
Thank you, Chair. Yes, while we've been reviewing the Marketplace plat, even though there were no, a lot of times with a plat, it comes with the specific approval of, site uses and development. With the Marketplace site, they did have a site plan, so this lot was, identified as a quick serve restaurant with a drive-through. The larger, there's a financial institution that's always been identified for one parcel, a multi-tenant building with a drive-through on another. So this is consistent with the kind of general site plan that Apadan had always shared with us during that review process. So,
Sounds good. Thank you.
Commissioner Swenson, I appreciated your long-range vision on that. Up and down the road, it's important that we think that way. I think it's time for a motion.
Madam Chair,
Commissioner Kaluza?
I motion to recommend to City Council approval of the conditional use permit for a convenience restaurant with a drive-through service window in the M2 mixed-use Cedar Corridor District, and approval of the findings of fact dated October 2nd, 2025, subject to the 4 stipulations listed in the planning memo dated September 25th, 2025.
Second.
Motion and a second. Ask our secretary to take a roll, please.
Kaluza?
Aye.
Zimmer?
Aye.
Eink?
Aye.
Swaney?
Aye.
Swenson?
Aye.
Traffus?
Aye.
It sounds like a unanimous passage. We'd like to thank you, Mr. Dalling, for your investment in Lakeville, and maybe you'll be seeing some of us come through the restaurant. Thank you. The next item on the list is another public hearing. This is for Ritter Meadows Amenity Building to consider the application of Twin Cities Land Development for a conditional use permit.
Cindy Wall is now exiting.
Okay. A conditional use permit for a private recreation building in the RM1 Medium Density Residential District. Property is located at the northwest corner of Keokuk Avenue and 203rd Street. And we have Mr. Schmidt to present. Have you come forward after that? We'll bring up staff. Go ahead first, just briefly.
Yeah, Ben Schmidt, Twin Cities Land Development. Appreciate the opportunity. I can't remember who goes first. That was the only problem. Apologize for that. Also dressed all casually. Apologize for that, but it was so warm today. Yeah, pretty simple. I think staff did a nice job, and she'll, of course, relay everything that she's got in her staff report. I think it's relatively straightforward. We just want to have an amenity building for that townhouse area. We've got a pool and typical club room, that kind of stuff, as well as kind of one of the big things for us was to have some parking, so that way we've got a spot for a maintenance vehicle, that type of thing. We found in other similar developments, we end up with this ATV that no one knows what to do with, and it sits outside, so we want to avoid that. Otherwise, I think it's pretty straightforward, and I think it meets all the applicable rules and regulations for the CUP. With that, I'll turn it over and, of course, be happy to stand for any questions.
Thank you so much. Bring up our rock star here. Ms.
All
Johnson.
right, thank you again. Yes, this is a conditional use permit for, in the ordinance, it's described as a private recreation center, which is a use allowed by conditional use permit within residential districts. Its location is along Keokuk Avenue, north of 205th. It's a little tough to see, but here are all the various, units that would be able to make use of the amenity center there. The zoning is RM1, as I said, that is a conditional use within that district. It's a single-level building with a basement. Footprint's about 1,900 square feet, so 3,800 square foot total. It does have a pool and a pool deck at the rear, which is enclosed by a fence. It does have a patio space at the front as well, and then landscaped around. This is the access drive that Mr. Schmidt spoke of. You'll be able to see it a little better when we look at the floor plan or the building elevations. But it does go down to a maintenance garage to provide access for that. Just the floor plans here. This here is the main level. It's a little tough to see. This is, there's a front entrance which faces Keokuk Club Room. That patio is out here. There's a little bit of office space, and then the bathrooms and shower areas for the pool out back. And then this is the lower level with that drive coming down. There's a small door here for that maintenance garage, mechanical equipment, and then a fitness room at the front portion of the building. Here's the building exteriors. Here's that drive coming down to that garage, and then a service door here. Hardy board siding, both lap and board and batten style, as well as stone veneer and glass are the elevation materials. All are grade A, so certainly does meet our exterior materials requirements. And the height of the building at the peak is just under 20 feet. So again, just a single-story building there. This is a public hearing, and staff does recommend approval of the CUP, and I'll stand for any questions you may have.
Much. As Ms. Johnson said, this is a public hearing, and the group.
Madam Chair, seeing no one in the audience, I move to close the public hearing.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor of closing the public hearing, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The public hearing is now closed. Questions from commissioners? Questions? Commissioner Traffus.
The question I had was just about the number of units or number of families that will use this.
We'll have you come forward, Mr. Schmidt. Thank you.
Yeah, this is just for the townhomes, so we have 135 townhomes that would use this. None of the other housing that goes to the north would utilize this building.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you.
Mr. Schmidt, I had one question, I'm sorry. When I went there to see it, there's a pond in the middle of the development or something? Is the pool like overlooking that?
Yeah, so there's a couple of ponds there, but yes, probably the one you're referring to. There's a pretty large pond, and there's actually a city park that is part of, so
Yeah, you can.
So we've got a pond in kind of this area, and then this kind of L-shaped is actually City Park that's been dedicated to the city. And so yes, the pool area back here kind of overlooks the edge of the park and part of that pond, correct?
Okay. I just thought it was a really nice use. That's what it was going to be.
Yeah, I think it candidly all accidental. I mean, we didn't plan to have this building here, but I think it's worked out really well. And have it be kind of the entrance off of Keokuk, because, we think our townhouses are good looking, but this is a little better. And so, yeah, accidentally, I think it turned out real well.
Thank you.
A month from now, I'm going to tell you it was all planned. Thank you.
There are no other comments. I think we're ready for a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Sweeney.
I make a motion to recommend to City Council approval of the conditional use permit for a private recreation building in the RM1 medium-density residential district and approval of the findings of fact dated October 2nd, 2025, subject to the two stipulations listed in the planning memo dated September 22nd, 2025.
Second that.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. I'd like to ask Ms. Erickson to take the roll, please.
Zimmer?
Aye.
Eink?
Aye.
Swaney?
Aye.
Swenson?
Aye.
Traffus?
Aye.
Kaluza?
Aye.
There you have it. That motion passes. We appreciate your investment and look forward to seeing the final product. Staff notices, could you tell us when those two items are going to be before planning or before City Council?
I would expect both of them to be at City Council at their October 20th meeting. And just as a reminder, the commission should go back and take a vote on those minutes.
All right, so we're going back to item 3A and B. We already let stand the Planning Commission meeting minutes, but now the work session minutes with the amended change. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? That motion passes, and we have approval of the minutes. The next Planning Commission meeting will be October 16th, 2025, and I don't believe there's anything else. We are adjourned. Thank you.